Well, hi.
Hello.
So we're here today with Donald Shorter, and it's not taller, it's shorter, but
Yes.
you're not short.
No.
Yeah. And you're actually a very special artist in resident in that one of our board members worked me to really sort of create a sense of equality within our demographics of who we have. We actually have been doing that, but he wanted to make it happen within the leather culture, and and so I gave him the responsibility to go out into the world and to seek a proposed artist in resident that would suit that, and he came up with you.
Yeah.
Did he know you before?
He did not. I just so happened to be in San Francisco visiting, spending time with my daddy. And we went to Onyx's event that they do, their monthly bar night at the Powerhouse. And I just so happened to be introduced to him by my daddy. And then I had a short film out at the time that looked at sort of like a BDSM vignette, sort of poetic expression. And it was doing really well on the film festival circuit. And I just so happened to show Graylin sort of the trailer and a couple of the images that I'd shot that hadn't been released with Benjamin Fredrickson. And he was like, I'm working on something. Here's my email. And so then that's how we met.
So I've learned a lot in the last 3 months that you've been here,
Yeah.
and more about the daddy boy culture, and that and just the sort of the parameters of it, and so it's been really. It's good to be 74 and still open and available to learning things,
Yeah.
and especially within our own culture.
Yeah.
And so, as a sir, I would like you to put that boot back up on your.
Okay. Yes, sir, Dirk. I got you.
Yeah, I brought them down from Tom's room,
Yeah.
and I've got his cap on my knee here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really about connections
Mm-hmm.
between the past and the present,
Nice.
and it was actually interesting in that Tom was an artist that decided to, at an early age of, I mean, his age wasn't early, but he wasn't old. But in 1960, he started to integrate black men into his drawings, and no other artist that I know of was doing that at the time, and he had this urge. It certainly wasn't because he was had contact with other models that were black. A little bit maybe in England when he started to travel to England, because that was already sort of happening there a bit, but certainly not in America hardly. And and he just presented it with no explanation, and he just kept on presenting it, and I think that just from the standpoint of our own culture, is that we've come a long ways, and now I feel, and I'm taking advantage of this opportunity so that you can then talk, is that I feel like now we're actually in motion, and that the presence of Onyx and having chapters in different cities shows that now black, gay, queer leathermen have taken it on and made it theirs, and don't feel as outsiders, and are owning it, and having themselves part of a larger community of leather people.
Yeah.
And that's sort of wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that growing up as a leather person, right? Like I didn't necessarily see myself reflected sort of in communities or in different sort of artworks that were connected to the homoerotic genre, that were connected to leather expression. And so I think, where I'm at now, right, as a leather person of color, I'm able to see that we now do have communities, right? Different chapters, whether they be for for leather black men, or other leather people of color, right?
Yeah.
That there's all these different communities where we can grow and learn and express ourselves, and feel safe, and to feel seen and to have that sense of representation. So
To
that's
belong.
and to belong, so that we can have the ability to be amongst the entire leather community, but to have mentors and to have a fellowship or a brotherhood, with our own is just really enriching and powerful.
So then you arrive here at the Tom House, and just tell me a little bit, tell our viewers what the experience was like, and also were you able to source what you wanted?
Yeah, I think that bringing the intention of writing the proposal was really beneficial, right? Because it really puts me as an artist in a headspace to say, you know what, I am bringing intention to the work that I want to do here. And I really kept myself as open as possible to the experience in terms of what being here was how it was going to shape me. And then also in terms of my creative practice as an artist. Yes, I do have a specific way that I work, but I think being in this artist commune, it's like, and being here at the foundation, I think there's just so many ways in which it can inform you as a person, as an artist, And so I was really intentional about wanting to explore the daddy boy, daddy son power exchange relationship. And so I really wanted to sort of source works, both of that of Tom's and other homoerotic artists, to see if there were works that were connected to this type of relationship. And to say, okay, yes, as a partnership, but are people talking about what it means to be a boy and a submissive? Are there works that are directly linked to the leather identity of a daddy? And so, I just sort of said, okay, we started with upstairs in Tom's room, and I went through binders, and it was really amazing to see his process. I think what I know of Tom's commercial work it's been very different from how I've seen it evolve from sketches, collages, how he plays with gender in terms of taking those physique pictorial men and drawing vaginas on them, and and to seeing that finished image, and I think that Tom's work is very welcoming, is very inviting. The men are smiling, and all of the sexual practices that they're engaging in. It gives a sense of destigmatization of guilt and shame around desire, right? That many gay men have, because society says that we shouldn't engage with each other in that way. So, I started with Tom, and then going over decades of his work, things that were already accessible upstairs, things that you pulled, and it really gave me a broader sense of sort of like where he was headed, as an artist working towards a commercially viable sort of works, And then from there, I went through downstairs. Each day I would go through a different artist and sort of like just take in, and then take notes, like what challenged me, what resonated with me, and sort of to pick out different themes about their work. And so that's kind of how I started. I just sort of took in as much as I could. I didn't really, maybe I critiqued it, but I just said, this is what I'm going to continue to foster my research. And then I came up with sort of like over a week of like hours upon hours, I was like, oh, there really isn't anything that does speak to the daddy boy power exchange relationship specifically or directly. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm in the right direction, because now I can contribute to the homoerotic genre with this specific lens.
I did feel like you were processing your own life, and that you were creating art, and at the same time you were processing, and that it was very much alive and living within you, what you were creating and working on.
Yeah, as an artist, I'm a performance artist, so I have a theater background. I've done Broadway musicals. I do concert dance, right, contemporary dance, and so a film. So kind of like, how are all of these mediums informing each other? Do they need to inform each other? But at the end of the day, my work is autobiographical. So so I definitely wanted to just always bring that element of sort of what's going on in my life, and how can I present that in an artistic way.
So when you had your presentation, the weather was it wasn't raining, but it was bitterly cold, and
Yeah.
and it was interesting to see how the attendees were willing to go through it with you, because you were cold,
Yeah.
and they were cold too,
Yeah.
and there was a sense of everybody was steadfast.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. I sort of, when it came for the night of the exhibition, I just sort of left it open. However you wanted to connect with the works were fine. If you wanted to connect with all three or just one, I can't control that. And so I was really moved at how people stayed for the play, right? And stayed with me and Mark, the actor who played the daddy in it. And that was really powerful to see.
What do you think you're going to go on for next?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I always say that, like, I never considered myself a homoerotic artist or an erotic artist. I think that sort of my work is autobiographical, and this is where I'm at in my life. And so art is a way through which I process those lived experiences. And so I definitely am inspired by all of the research that I've done here, seeing other artists in residence, the work of Tom, that they have dedicated their lives to being able to keep the genre alive, and to see how it's impacted so many others. I think I'm really looking forward to being able to continue to, as an artist, champion the voice of the submissive, and the look and the feel of that, because I feel that there's not enough of work being done in the genre to really represent the lived experience of the submissive.
So we have a responsibility from henceforth, but also you do, in regards to contributing to this library and archive materials that those who follow you will be able to access, and be able to know more and feel more about the daddy boy relationship.
Yeah. So in that, I'm gonna be giving you this photo. This is shot by Benjamin Fredrickson. This is with Sterling, who's local here to LA, who is a leather daddy, and that's myself. We shot that in the Sugar Shack. So I want to be able to gift this to the foundation, and hopefully it can live down in the Sugar Shack.
We'll have to screw it to the wall.
Yeah, so this is one way in which I feel like I can contribute to the ways in which so many other people have contributed to the foundation here. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I sort of got caught off guard. I didn't think that you were leaving so soon, because it seems like you're leaving so soon.
Yeah.
And I think that it's been, for Sharp and I, it's been wonderful when the three of you have come together, and I love the photograph that's presently on Facebook of the three of you.
Yeah,
and it really shows the sense of diversity within our artist residency, and also within our tribe, and that we get to all be and come together and appreciate the differences and the commonalities of each other. So I feel like there's a heyday going on, and I was at an event yesterday where there were a lot of daddies.
Where was I at?
And I said to them, you need some young bloods here, and that for them to actually take advantage of what all of this knowledge base and maturity provides, because daddies are quite popular right now. It's not you get old and you have to go and hide away. You get to now come out into the limelight. And so having boys really, and I know it's not always age related. And that's something that is specific to. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that boy is more of a mindset than it is an age or gender. It really is that sort of being able to tap into that part of yourself that needs, that wants to submit, that needs and wants to serve, and to be able to be cared for and nurtured by a daddy, a dominant. So
Yes.
that's not specific to age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything you'd like to share with the public, with the viewers, about yourself, about anything that you want?
Yeah, I would like to say that, like, this is, like I said before, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I think what the foundation is and the work that it's doing is incredible. And I think that my hope is that it can continue to be tangible to people both near and far, and that people, like you always say, will continue to help it grow and to live on. This is a utopia, you know. I say it has its own sense of time, and it's been really meaningful for me to be here. And I'm grateful for all of the work that you, Sharp, and so many others who've come before. I work in show business, and I know that, like, you know, people don't get to a certain point because it's easy, right? Like, I'm sure there's been hardships, and there will continue to be hardships.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that I see all of the work that you do and that you've done, and I'm sure you haven't gotten here without a fight.
And the thing about it is that, and which addresses the subject of our culture,
Yeah.
is that it really takes it does take a village,
Yeah.
and it takes our whole tribe to actually protect us and to preserve us and to promote us,
Yeah.
so that we can, in fact, continue to be of value and enrich the next generation of queers,
Yeah.
who come our way, right?
Yeah.
So I want to tell you that you have been an amazing energy here in the house. You have been busy as a bee, and you have totally been taking advantage of our community, and in all ways. And it was very timely that you were here for leather events, and they all happened.
Yeah.
And so I want to sort of the serendipity of it all,
Yeah.
and that it all came together just at a perfect time.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, and I look forward. I hope that our relationship will stay active,
Yeah.
and that you'll send more people our way,
Mm-hmm.
and that and I do need to state that even though you were presented to us by Graylin, you still had to go through a process,
Yeah.
and we had to actually evaluate whether you would be useful to us, but also we would be valuable to you.
Yeah.
And so, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.